Hello, welcome to this video. This video is designed for you if you've actually already been doing tax returns in the past, but haven't done tax return this year, and a little bit confused as why HMRC has been asking for it. Or if you're not sure how to know if HMRC needs you to do a tax return. You see, in the UK, we've just come to the end of a tax season. And at the end of the tax season, as accountants, we have lots and lots of clients who are trying to get their tax return completed. Now, the vast majority of our clients we can get done way before the actual deadline, which is the 31st of January. But we spend a lot of our time towards the end of 31st of January trying to remind people to give us the information so that we can complete their tax return. And it's always a shock to us to find a lot of people who come back with, oh, I don't think I need to do a tax return this year. So this video is going to explore that, find out if you needed to do a tax return or not, and also explain why sometimes, even if you didn't need to do a tax return, HMRC is still going to request one. My name is Aaron Patrick. Let's roll the VT and we'll get straight into it. Hello, my name is Aaron Patrick. I am a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer of Fancy New Logo, that QuickBooks Chap on the internet, and also head of accounts here at Boffix. And as I said in the intro, a lot of people are confused about why they still need to do a tax return. Because if you think about it, a tax return is designed to be something that's there for when you need to go out and complete something that HMRC don't know about. A great example of that is if you own your own business or if you have rental property. Well, HMRC are not going to know when you have either of those how much you earned in a particular year, hence why self-assessment is actually a thing in the first place. But if you've got rid of that rental property or that business, then a lot of people think that that's it. They don't need to do a tax return going forward. But that's not always the case. So first of all, let's start thinking about why you might need to still do a tax return. Well, think about it. It's going to be a timing issue more than anything else. Even if, as of today, you've stopped doing the business, then think about tax returns themselves and what they relate to. They're always about the past. See, typically, when you do a tax return, you've got to look back at the previous tax year. Remember what a tax year runs from? 6th of April all the way to the 5th of April. So if you received any form of income in that period, from rental, business, or whatever it's going to be, then you still need to report from that. And a lot of people forget this. They may have finished their business almost 18 months ago, but they've still got to do that final period and report it to HMRC. So first of all, it's just down to a timing issue. It's down to the fact that you have received during that period some money and you need to declare it on your tax return itself. Go back to the previous tax return that you've completed, have a look at what period that represents, then notice what period is still to come. That should give you a good indication of why you need to complete that final tax return. Now, I'm saying final tax return because it may not be. HMRC basically hold all the cards in this respect. If you put into that final tax return in that final period that it was your final income you're going to receive for that particular income, again, rental or business being the most prevalent, then HMRC may decide you don't need to complete a tax return going forward. But also, they might decide you do. Ultimately, HMRC will have all of the power with that. They're going to be the ones that are going to decide if you need to complete a tax return or not. And ultimately, HMRC will only decide they don't want you to have a tax return if they're confident that you've got no other form of income to come in. So realistically, HMRC may continuously ask you to do a tax return till the end of time. And ultimately, you don't really have a choice on that. If HMRC want you to do a tax return, even if it's going to be what we would class as a nil return, then they will continue to ask for that return until they decide they don't want it. So the second reason that you may still have to do a tax return is because HMRC just still want to see that tax return being completed. Now, what's the best way to understand if you have a tax return to do? Well, first of all, keep an eye out for any letters. HMRC are notorious for sending a lot of post out. As an accountancy firm, you'll be scared to see how much post comes through the door relating to just from HMRC themselves. But they are really crucial for you because with that post, with that information, that's going to be a great indication if you've still got to do a tax return or not. Failing that, by far the best way to do that is to log on to your HMRC portal. Once you log into the HMRC portal, you'll be able to see there exactly what it looks like when it comes to have you got to do a tax return. You see, your online portal is going to be the best place to know what tax returns you still need to complete. And you'll be able to see when the due dates are and if you completed it or not, or if someone else has maybe completed it on your behalf. But ultimately, that's the best place to look. So in conclusion, ultimately, if you have been doing tax returns in the past, there's a very high likelihood you're still going to continue to do tax returns at least for the next couple of years. The best way to understand if you still have a tax return to do or not is to go into your online portal and have a look if HMRC are asking for one. It may even be in your best interest to complete a tax return anyway, as you may have some losses or something else that you need to utilise in that final period. Now, if you need any help with this is where Boffix can come into play. We can complete tax returns for you from start to finish, or we can even do an MOT of the tax return you want to submit so that we can make sure that that's correct before submission. Either way, head over to our website and you'll be able to get all the details about how we can help you going forward. But don't delay. Don't miss out on completing a tax return. The penalties are quite severe, and HMRC are very unlikely to revoke any penalties as you've already completed tax returns in the past. And unfortunately, from their point of view, they're probably going to think that you should have known better and you should have completed that tax return for the year that you missed. So don't delay. Get logged into your HMRC's tax portal, have a look, see if you need a tax return. If you do need one, make sure you get it in before the date. And if you need any help, don't forget, here at Boffix, we're here to help you get that tax return completed. This channel could well have saved you that penalty from HMRC. And if you want more tips and tricks to make sure that you don't fall foul of any penalties and you get the most out of running your business, then make sure you subscribe to this channel. Also, let us know below, have you ever missed a tax return before? Is there any reasons why your tax return? Or have you got any stories to share about tax returns that haven't been completed on time? We'd love to hear from them, and that could make a great video going forward. Again, my name is Aaron Patrick. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.